Hey guys, Swepco Rad Performance. I'm just going to show you today about sprinkler systems, something you can do at home. If you need to flush out your sprinkler systems like we do here in the Northeast, every season, by the time Halloween rolls around, you need to blow out the water. And there is a high charge for this from a lot of the water district and the sprinkler companies. But real simple to make your own, and so long as you have an air compressor, which we have one sitting here, that'll be our friend today. This is just a cheap one from Harbor Freight, but it definitely gets the job done. If you have an air compressor and you have just regular garden hose, this is leftover garden hose that I had, 5/8 garden hose. So one end, you'll do a regular female fitting for the spigot, which I'll show you later. So this female spigot. This end, I just have a barbed fitting, and I kind of did this on my own, but it will make it a lot easier. So if you did it, just a barb fitting going into a plumber's fitting into a 3/8 ball valve, and that 3/8 ball valve with a reducer accommodates the chuck for the air compressor. So basically air will go in here into the hose, out of the spigot, back into your house, that goes back into the sprinkler system. So you're forcing air back through the system. Inside your house, you'll have a shut-off valve, and I'll show you that. You shut the valve off, and then the water pressure, or the pressure behind the water, has to go out through the sprinkler system. So that's how that works, and that's how they blow it out. So I literally made this out of scrap. I just had an extra hose, and then I just had to go to Home Depot or wherever, hardware store, and just get these fittings here. Start with the 3/8 ball valve, and then you'll get the reducer with the air compressor nipple, and then you just need to get a barbed fitting for the garden hose, which will fit perfectly. I mean, hose clamps are fine, because the most pressure you'll get is 90 psi to 100 out of your air compressor, and that's more than enough to blow out the sprinklers, because most water systems go from 50 to 80 psi anyway. So that's perfect for it, and that's really what the companies do. They just have an air compressor bolted to the back of a truck, and that's how they're blowing it out. So I will show you this. So air compressor hose, and obviously you will need to know where your sprinkler box is, because we're going to come here and run through the zones and let the air blow out of each zone. So I will show you that once I hook all this up. So now we're down in the house. Just find your water main. Normally they will tap off of your water main. The sprinkler system company, when they put the sprinklers in, they normally go to the main and they run a line that goes outside. So we're in the house, because this, you should have this also. Most local towns will require it. It's a backflow protection device. So dirty water from outside can't go back into drinking water. So this has 2 valves on it. More than likely you'll have to get this tested annually anyway. But it's the time of the year, like I said. So the first thing you're going to need to know is you find your backflow device off of the water main, and you shut these valves off. So we're going to have to go outside and shut off the other valve, but I just wanted to show you this, because this is what you're going to do for the winter anyway. So shut this off. You leave this off until spring, where you would come back, turn them on. And we're going to go back outside. The other side of this, I'll show you, goes out of the house. That goes into your sprinkler system. There is probably going to be a shutoff valve on that also. So they have shutoff valves here, and we'll go use the other one on the outside, which is probably a shutoff valve with a hose spigot. And I'll show you that right now. Okay guys, so we're back outside now. This is the main line that was in the basement coming out, like I said, to another shutoff valve. So we're shutting him off, okay? We do not want the pressure to go back into the house. We want the pressure to go down into the sprinkler system. So here's our spigot. So we're gonna hook up our homemade hose attachment here, And when the pressure comes in, obviously we'll have to open up this valve. We'll keep it open. The pressure can't go into the house, so it's going to be forced down into the sprinkler system plumbing. When we cycle the sprinkler, the control unit, every valve that opens, zone 1, zone 2, zone 3, will push the air compressor pressure through each of those zones, and you'll see the sprinkler heads pop up and blow out all the water. So we're going to attach that now. This is our hose end right here. Just make sure you have a gasket, an O-ring. It'll make it better. So now we're gonna just attach this. So there we go. I'll have to tighten that with a wrench. So I always give it a little bit of a snug with a channel lock, just to make sure you're not leaking air. Anywhere you're leaking air, it's losing pressure. So, and it's just wasteful for the air compressor to always run. So we'll tighten that up with a wrench. Then I'll show you this end. We'll just go to our regular air hose fitting that goes back to the air compressor. So, okay guys, we got it hooked up to our air compressor. It's ready to go. The valve is open. I have the electrical hooked up, so I'm not turning it on yet. I just wanted to show you before all the noise. So it just really depends on how long the air hose is. So I happen to have 2 air hoses. Now, you could always move, if it's a mobile air compressor, you can just move it closer. But I have enough footage in the air hose to connect it. So I got it hooked up to my homemade hose right here with the shut-off valve. So when I'm ready, I'm just gonna open it and that's it. So right now we're all connected and we'll go make some noise. So that's it. That's all the businesses right there. That homemade hose, that old garden hose. Maybe it's like a 4-foot section that I used or I kept with a female hose end, and then with an air compressor fitting that goes into regular air hose. And you could really do this with any moderate air compressor. It doesn't have to be something super strong. So as soon as we start cycling this, I'll show you, it'll start blowing out the water. So we have all the hoses hooked up. I'm back here at the control panel, right? So we're just gonna put this in, you can stick it on so it goes auto. This, obviously, this is an Orbit. You know, yours will be different. So I'm just gonna put it in manual and all zones. So I'm just gonna pick the zone I want, which is 1. I'm gonna run up the time manually. 25 minutes, plenty of time. We'll only probably blow the air out for a few minutes, like 3 or 4 minutes, the most 4 minutes straight. So you see it's cycling, it's on, it thinks it's on for 24 minutes. So I have all these zones here, so I'll have to run through 5 or 6 zones. We'll just do this one at a time. So right now the zone is on. Obviously there's no water coming out because I have to turn the valve on like I showed you. So we got the air ready to go. Now when I flip the air pressure, you're gonna see all the water coming out of the front zone here. And then there'll be air. No more water, it's not gonna freeze. So we got this bad boy ready and we're gonna turn him on. And then once the pressure gets in. Okay guys, so just to end up, we have another zone running. We're gonna do one last zone here just to show you. 4, and then hit enter. So now you'll see, you hear the air compressor running. You can see all the, now the air, the water's blowing out, and then you'll see air. So you see all this water. And then the air. So that's it. It starts spitting out, let it run a little more, and you make sure all the water is out of the heads. Whether they're rotary heads or whether they're standstill, the rotaries take a little longer, but now it's mostly air. You can see it. And that's it. That's how you winterize your sprinkler systems on the cheap. old piece of garden hose and a couple of fittings, and all you need is an air compressor, which nowadays is almost common hand for any at-home DIY guy or gal. So hope that helped, guys. Please like and subscribe. If you have any questions, please leave it in the comments. Thank you.